Kathy Aru is the founding publisher of Catalina Magazine, and she joins us tonight. Kathy, thanks for coming on. So you can agree or not with the new policy in California, but doesn't it give you pause that California is basically doing what southern states did 50 years ago, 60 years ago, in saying we're ignoring federal authority on states' rights grounds? We're not going to acknowledge that your law is valid. Liberals used to be against that. They're not anymore.
It's quite the opposite. I mean, they're allowing the federal government to do what it's supposed to do. The state and local governments are not supposed to handle immigration and ask people for their papers. So if anything, they're giving the authority back to the federal government, not taking it into their own hands.
No, because there are many specific cases where the state of California, as a matter of policy, has refused to hand over, and this law codifies it, criminals to the federal government. They are refusing to cooperate with federal law. They're saying, we don't acknowledge that law is valid. And how is that different from what George Wallace said?
No, it's not like that at all. And as a matter of fact, this is not the first state to become a sanctuary state. Oregon is a sanctuary state, and Oregon is one of the safest states in our union. And sanctuary states and sanctuary cities are some of the safest places to be in the United States.
That's simply not true.
Yes, it is.
Well,
South Carolina is one of the unsafest states.
This has actually been studied at some length.
Right.
Let me ask you though, California is not one of the safest places. Its cities, in many cases, are a mess. But its economy is in tough shape, and there's more poverty in that state and more homeless people in that state than any other state. And California doesn't house 67% of all the homeless in California have no shelter. Why the emphasis on coddling people from another country when California's own citizens and residents are suffering in huge numbers?
Well, these people from another country aren't exactly hurting the system in any single way. They wouldn't be here if the work and the jobs were not here. So these people are not hurting our system.
Oh, really? Because there are 135,000 homeless people in the state of California. The overwhelming majority
we're blaming immigrants?
Have no jobs, have no homes,
are
living outside, the overwhelming majority of them, and yet somehow there's a need for more low-wage labor in the state? Why shouldn't the state be attending to their needs before the needs of people who snuck in illegally from another country?
Well, they're not coddling. They're not helping these immigrants in any way. These immigrants are here.
They're giving them driver's license. Wait, slow down. They're giving them driver's license. They're paying for schools. They're paying for health care, infrastructure, and then they're saying the feds.
Immigrants pay taxes.
No, actually, hold on.
Yeah.
Every illegal immigrant working in this country is using fake federal documents illegally. That's a felony, by the way. You fake documents. They're not all paying taxes. You know that that's not true. But the point is, why should the state attend to their needs when you've got more homeless people living in California than live in the entire city of Dayton, Ohio? That's a lot of people.
Immigrants are paying millions of dollars in taxes. They are helping the state, and they wouldn't be there if there wasn't work. So if there's anyone's problem, are the corporations that are hiring these immigrants.
But what about the Californians who were born there, or who are naturalized Americans, who were born somewhere else but came here legally, who don't have work, who are, again, living outside? Why isn't their plight priority number one? Why is it that of the illegal alien? Why is that person's plight more important?
Who's to say their plight isn't number one? The undocumented person's plight isn't number one. It's simply being a sanctuary state means that they're not going to take the time from these people who will call in a crime, that they're not going to tell these people you're not wanted here, you're not working, you're not being productive, you're not helping our society. They're just saying, be part of our community, call in the crimes, join our community, feel safe here.
Wait, hold on. Why didn't the governor just sign a law designed to help the more than 100,000 people living outside in California, the American citizens, living outside, dying outside? Why didn't he sign a law helping them?
Well, he's helping everyone by making these people feel welcome in his state. He's helping everyone.
But how does it help them? Hold on. How does it help Americans, or Californians in this case, without jobs, to welcome people to work for less than they would make?
Undocumented immigrants are not hurting anyone's jobs. They're not taking away anyone's jobs. As a matter of fact, we need more worker visas for these people. We just don't have a system that allows year-round worker visas.
I'm sorry. I'm really trying to be patient. I'm trying to track with you logically.
Of course.
How is it that when you have a huge pool of people who are unemployed, it's helpful to those people, the American unemployed, to bring in a whole lot of other people and give them jobs? How does that help the unemployed in America? I'm totally baffled.
What's hurting is that technology, and the manufacturing jobs are gone, and technology is what's hurting workers in America. It's not the undocumented immigrant.
Okay, so if technology is making all the low-wage jobs go away, then why are we letting in hundreds of thousands, nationally, millions of people with no skills, tech skills at all?
We have immigration's at an all-time low. So immigration
it's not at
right
an
now,
all-time low. That's a made-up statistic.
It's not a made-up statistic.
It's utterly false.
No, it was actually bigger in the 70s.
Okay, but
so it is lower right now than ever.
That's not true, actually.
Yes,
I know the numbers. But let's just, in one sentence, if technology is making it harder for people who don't have advanced tech skills to find work, why in the world are our politicians letting in millions of people with no tech skills at all?
Well, because they're probably needed. They're needed. There are.
But you just said they weren't going to be needed because they're going to be displaced by technology.
Well, right now they are needed. These workers are needed year-round, and we need visas for these type of workers, and we need for them to feel comfortable in our country.
Okay. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate it.
Thank you.